Today is September the 8th, 2023. Tonight's game is the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. I did join 2 survivor pools. I'll give you those picks at the end of the video. And I did join Fishang's pregame.com Las Vegas Hilton Super Contest, and this is the simulator. I had 50 wins last year. Doesn't count the scratch I was winning with the Cincinnati Bengals. Buffalo Bills canceled the game. Oh well, that's the breaks. I'm going to crack it this year. I bought 2 entries. So getting to the value for you, for the viewers, for this video, for this season, we're going to do some win-loss totals for certain teams. There's plenty of places you can buy prices from. The list I'm about to read you for my 7 picks for the over-unders this year, they're a compilation between Cedar Sportsbook, FanDuel, BetMGM, PointsBet, BetRivers, and DraftKings. Let's get some value for this video. We'll start with the first pick, the Arizona Cardinals, under 4.5 wins for the season. Worst team in the NFL. They might be deliberately tanking. There's no Kyler Murray until at least week 8 or 9. Season's half over. What are they going to do? And they're in a somewhat tough division. They got to play the 49ers twice. They got to play Seattle twice. I don't see where they're going to get any wins from. Franchise has never been known to go out and make a splash free agency, big signings. I mean, they let Boomer Esiason go. They were in the playoff wild card hunt many years ago, and if Boomer Esiason started the last 2 games, they had to give him like a $600,000 bonus. You know, they win those 2 games, they sneak into the wild card, and they started some rookie, and Boomer Esiason got on the TV and said, "I want to have my contract." He was so mad, and that's because they didn't want to pay him. They've lost some important pieces that they did have. I don't see them winning 5 games. I forgot to do my primer for this. When you do over-unders for team season totals, you get a 1-game advantage in my opinion, because they have to go over that number. You're getting almost a free game, as it were. When a team to go over, well, they have to win over that number. You're losing a game. It's mathematics. I mean, I think this under 4.5 for Cardinals is justified. The second one was the most glaring, questionable one. They got the Chicago Bears, and they're over under 7.5. Now this team started 2-1 last year. They beat the 49ers in that monsoon rainstorm. It was home. They beat the 49ers 19-10. They were 6.5-point chalk. So anyway, and they won that game. Well, the next thing they were 2-1. Oh, here we go. You know, but then they started losing a lot of games. But during that 1-13 skid, okay, Justin Fields was a one-man wrecking crew, and they say, maybe we shouldn't have tanked. We might be able to do some damage here. Green Bay had fallen off a little bit. Minnesota was winning their games by last-second field goals. They won 13 games by 1 score. Some of them were in the last seconds. They got trounced by the Giants in playoffs, which we had, by the way. So Minnesota had the false record, as it were. And Detroit was kind of, they were 1-6, 1-7. They were tanking too. I mean, they were thinking, maybe we should try to win some of these games. We could do something here. No, too late. Anyway, the odds makers want you to think that the Chicago Bears, or at least, or 4 games better than what they were last year. They only won 3 games last year. And they got the over-under at 7.5. So that's a 4.5 improvement that they want you to think that they are. When I do over-unders, I look at the 6 games that each division has to play when this format was formulated. And I don't forget the year. I don't feel like looking it up. The Bears, they had to play Green Bay twice, Minnesota twice, and now Detroit twice. Out of those 6 games that they're going to play when they're division foes, where's the wins? Do they have any wins? I say no. Green Bay has owned this team for years. Aaron Rodgers used to own it. I own you. I know we'll be getting to Green Bay in a bit. And I think Detroit's on the way up. I think Detroit's going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. Vikings, they've shored up that defense. Everybody's like, oh, forget the Vikings. They're frauds, and we call it to them. Kirk Cousins still might be the best quarterback in that division. I think Goff is, but you can argue that Kirk Cousins is the most consistent, and he's not that consistent. But I think Goff is a very good quarterback. Fields is great in his own way, but you know what? Now they got tape on him. They got a whole year watching him running around like that, and they're going to defend him just like they did Doug Flutie and everybody else. I'm going under Chicago 7.5 wins. They got to win 8 games to beat me. The third pick, Detroit Lions, over 9.5. That's right. I usually bet unders. I think last year I had one over and 6 unders, and I won them all. Detroit's got to win 10 games for me to win this bet, but I think they can do that. I think they can beat Chicago twice. I think they can split with the Vikings, if not sweep them. We'll give them a split. Green Bay, they can split with them. There's 4 wins right there. They got to find 6 wins outside of the division. I think they can do that. And I think Detroit's going to win the NFC North. The fourth game, speaking of the NFC North, I got the Green Bay Packers over 7.5. Okay, over 7.5. They won 8 games. If they win that Detroit game last year, last game of the season, they make the wild card team, the 7th seed. But that was a lights out game, and Detroit has had a history style as a boy in the 1960s and 70s. They've been played spoiler, and that's part of their personality. And it's just transferred from generation to generation. It's their personality, and they spoiled Green Bay, got them back. Let me think of it this way, and I'll be as quick as raised I could possibly be. Good job, Green Bay Packers. We're getting rid of the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. There is not much argument, if any at all, that Aaron Rodgers is the most accurate passer in the history of the NFL. It's particularly the Super Bowl era, which is the passing era. You could put him in the name of Johnny Unitas as being accurate, but I just think that Aaron Rodgers, by far, with no questions asked, that he was the most accurate passer. More accurate than Tom Brady, more accurate than Peyton Manning. Although it was close between him and Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner. Okay, accurate passers. Okay, and you got rid of him because he doesn't play special teams and he doesn't play defense. And you pissed and moaned because your #1 seed for like 5 years in a row fell short in the playoffs. Okay, you have to understand that when you make that second season or the playoff season, okay, that's your second chance to advance. Okay, you've already proven yourself, but you're playing teams that are almost as good, if not better than you. And we had them for the 49ers, slunking them and they blocked that punt in the fourth quarter. I mean, Green Bay was winning that whole game, and they shut down Jimmy Garoppolo and all these other great receivers and Deebo Samuel. They shut them all down, but in the fourth quarter, the cream rises to the top, and the 49ers pulled that out. I mean, it's just the breaks. The defense took a step back, but they were worn out. Defense has only played hard for so long. If they're not going to have a postseason, if they see that they can't win the division like Green Bay did last year, they're going to mail it in. I mean, you can't expect them to be that high level year after year after year. Green Bay has some awesome pieces and some awesome teams, and they were rightfully so ranked #1. Now they got rid of Aaron Rodgers, just the Jordan Love season, and he's okay. He doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers. Let me get this point across while I'm talking Green Bay Packers. He doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers. He has to be Jordan Love and find his own way. And I think he's going to do that. He looked okay in preseason. He looked pretty damn good to me. But the rest of the team is thinking, that defense thinking, you know what? Okay, we got rid of Aaron Rodgers. Now it's up to us. We got to show them that we're still the Green Bay Packers, and we're going to come back and we're going to win this division. I think they're going to fall short to Detroit, but I got them in second place. I got Detroit first place. I got Packers second place. Minnesota third place, and Chicago bring up the rear in last place. That's my placement of that division, the NFC North. And it's improved somewhat, but it's not the toughest divisions of football. But I like the Pack over 7.5. They got to win me 8 games. If they can do what they did last year, I got to win them. But good job, Green Bay, for getting rid of this Aaron Rodgers. You think he's washed up at 39, turning 40? Well, I got news for you. He's going to show you something with these Jets. You're going to find out. Pick number 5, Pittsburgh Steelers under 8.5. That's the toughest division in football, and there's not a disagreement. I mean, I've watched every pundit there is to watch the last 2 weeks on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, X, Twitter, you name it. I've watched them all. I've looked at them all. Pregame.com, I've watched them all. The AFC North, those 4 teams, the Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens, the improved Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it's the toughest division in football. In my day, we used to call it the black and blue division. You'd beat up on each other and go 500 against each other, and then we'd go 800, 900 against everybody else and make the playoffs and make the Super Bowl. The Steelers were a dominant team in the 70s, but the second best team in the NFL, every year the Steelers were in there, was the Houston Oilers. They were always a wild card team. They couldn't get past Pittsburgh, but they beat everybody else. They were that good. I mean, that division is stacked. But I think Pittsburgh is the weakest team out of those. And this is Pickett's second year. He doesn't impress me that much. You know, Tom will never win. He's never finished below 500. Well, they went 7-2 the last 9 games. Who did they beat? They beat the Colts. They beat the Falcons. They beat teams that didn't have a winning record. I just think that Tom was overrated. He inherited that team from Bill Cowher, who inherited his team from Chuck Noll, and the Steelers have only had 3 coaches in the last 50 years. They believe in continuity and consistency, and it shows. They got 6 Super Bowl trophies and some near misses. And a lot of near misses in the AFC Championship games too. This under 8.5 is a good bet because I got Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Baltimore all winning like 9 or 10 games. I mean, they all can't be playing 600 or 620 ball. One of them's got to be close to 500, if not 8 and 9. They got the 17th game in there, which helps the handicapper. That 17th game is going to help you if you know what you're doing. So we're going under 8.5 for Pittsburgh Steelers. The 6th over-under is Kansas City Chiefs 11.5. I got to get this video out because the game starts tonight. I want this to count. But they already handicapped a game and a half regression already. They've already downgraded Kansas City. If you look at the 11.5, okay. But this team has hosted the AFC title game 5 years in a row. That's never happened in the Super Bowl era. No team has ever hosted any title game 5 years in a row. I think the Eagles did it 4 years in a row back in the day. They finally cracked through and they beat the Falcons with Michael Vick. If I could find a prop bet where I could bet against them repeating as Super Bowl champions, I would put $10,000 on that, because they're not going to repeat as champions. The last repeat champion we had was the New England Patriots, or 2002 and 3. Anyway, it's hard repeating the NFL. And now we got some missing parts on Kansas City, and I found out yesterday that the tight end Travis Kelce is probably not going to play. He's got a bruised bone in his leg or something. Travis Kelce is their safety valve. That's Mahomes' go-to guy when he's scrambling that pocket. Kansas City, they got the youngest receiving core in the NFL. They got rid of a couple of other veterans. They got rid of Tyreek Hill the other year, and they got a bunch of nobodies now. I mean, who's he going to throw to? If you can't throw to Travis Kelce, who's going to throw to? Oh, they'll suit somebody up. Are they any good? And they also have 2 tackles they got to replace. One of them was all-pro. He moved on. He went somewhere. Doesn't matter. So now they got a rookie in one place, and they got a free agent who's played, 3 games? I mean, this is not good. Mahomes has a built-in advantage when he drops back, when he is the pocket passer for a certain play. He drops back 16 yards. I mean, it's a pretty deep drop back. And that gives him an extra half a second or a second and a half to find a receiver to decide he's going to run or get out of bounds and take a minimal loss. It doesn't look like it's going to hurt the passing game getting these 2 tackles, but it's going to hurt the running game. The blocking schemes, it's going to hurt the blocking scheme. You got to create the openings for that running back to sneak through. I just think Kansas City's going to take a step back, and they might even get beat tonight. Look at that line tonight while we're talking about Kansas City. If I'd been in Vegas, we always go a few days early, pay for the contest, get your proxies in and all that other stuff, meet with the people, and go out to dinner. The Orleans has 2 movie theaters upstairs. We go catch a movie for $5 or whatever, and just have a good old time. A lot of museums, a lot of things to do in Vegas now that wasn't there in the 80s and 90s when I was going every week. And I would have taken Detroit +7. You could have got 7. And if I'd been really bold and daring, I'd have bought a half a point. And as long as the juice wasn't too high, it didn't take me over 135. So now the line is 4.5. It's meandered all the way down to 4.5 as of right now of filming time. So what's that telling you? It's telling you that Detroit scored a lot of points, and they almost beat the Eagles in week 1 last year. They come out hot, come out smoking. 2 offensive teams. I'm looking for a lot of scoring, and I think they got the George Foreman puncher's chance. I think Detroit could win this game. I'm under 11.5 for Kansas City Chiefs. They can't keep bleeding talent. They got lucky by getting rid of Tyreek Hill the other year. I know he's hard to get along with. He punched somebody in the dock or something, and slapped somebody, threatened someone else. You're going to slap him on the wrist and tell him don't do it again. You represent the Miami Dolphins now. Last I heard, he beat that, right? So, or put him on probation. Put him on probation for a year. Okay, put him on probation for a year. So, the 7th pick, and we're going to do another over. We got 3 overs this year and only 4 unders. We're taking the Los Angeles Rams over 6.5. Last year, the Los Angeles Rams was the previous year's Super Bowl defending champion. They looked pretty good. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, the best defensive lineman in all of football, and has been for the last 5 years. The single best. Oh, and Kansas City's missing Chris Jones, the 2nd best lineman in football. He's holding out. So I think that hurts the Chiefs too. McVay was going to quit. He's got a bunch. I don't even think he's 40 years old yet. His grandfather took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise team, and they had lost 26 in a row or some shit like that, and got him in a championship game. They lost to the Rams 9-0, but he got him there. Doug Williams, quarterback, and Kevin House, that tight end. Kevin House would get the 90-yard catch from his own end zone, but he could never score. They'd catch him at the 5-yard line at the other end. He'd run out of gas, but he was a big beast. I mean, they had some players. That was his grandfather, so I think he comes from a good coaching tree, a good football family. I think McVay is the best of these. McVay for the Rams and LaFleur of the Packers. They're the best of what they call the nerd kid coaches. He's burnt out. He had a fog, and I think that he lost his locker room. They had a couple of tough games, and then Cooper Kupp got hurt, and Matthew Stafford went down. The nucleus of the team was hurt, and they mailed it in. But they still almost beat Seattle twice. So when you look at who they play, okay, It's a somewhat tough division, okay? They got the 49ers twice, okay? That might be 2 losses there. They got Seattle, but I think they're going to split with Seattle. And they're going to beat the They got the Arizona Cardinals. They're going to beat them twice. Okay, there's 3 wins, possibly 4, possibly 5 wins right there in their own division if they can split with the 49ers. Okay, you can't tell me they can't find 2 games outside the division. So this over 6.5. I mean, I just think that this is way wrong. I think the Rams are going to show you something. The Rams are going to, they got some pride too. No, they won't win the division. I mean, I got the 49ers winning that, but I got the Rams coming in second. I think Seattle's going to regress. Okay, I almost took the under on the Seattle, but you know what? Seattle, if they shore up that defense, they could be a real threat again. And Pete Carroll's a veteran coach. I'm afraid of him. But the Rams over 6.5, I kind of like it. So a recap: pick 1, under 4.5, Arizona Cardinals. Pick 2, under 7.5, Chicago Bears. Pick 3, over 9.5, Detroit Lions. Pick 4, the Packers over 7.5 wins. Pick number 5, under 8.5, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pick number 6, under 11.5 for Kansas City Chiefs. And pick number 7, over 6.5. I got 4 unders and 3 overs. I mean, that's not the normal Jack Remington betting, but these are the best chances. I'm picking the ones I think I'm going to win. So save this video, enjoy the game tonight, and I'll have my survivor picks. I got 2 entries. The first entry I'm taking is what I think is the closest. There's no such thing as a lock in the NFL, but I'm taking the closest thing to a lock. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens over Houston Texans on the first entry. The second entry, I'm going to take the Washington Commanders. I'm going to gamble here. The Washington Commanders, I got them as the 3rd worst team in the NFL. They just got to be just good enough to beat the Cardinals, who I think is going to deliberately tank. So let me get this video out. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the season. Good to be back. So enjoy the video. Enjoy the picks. I'll have my NFL. I'll have my top 5 for the Super. You're getting me for free. So please like, share, subscribe, and let's kick some ass in this football season. Let's pick a lot of games. Let's pick a lot of winners. Okay? You're going to pick some losers. So that comes with the territory. No one's going to shonker every pick that they make. No one. You're going to get some wrong. You're like the weatherman. Every now and then you'll see that the hailstorm coming. Well, okay, well, it moves in so fast you missed it. So take care, stay within your means. Long live the NFL. I feel like I'm alive again. So thank you. Have a good day.